Here's the big question. How is it that most entrepreneurs hustle and are always busy and struggle to take just one step forward only to fall two steps back? They're dedicated, determined, and driven, but only a few finally break through and win. This show uncovers those quantum leap patterns of highly successful people so you can simply model what they do and apply to your future success. That's the question, and the answers are right here. My name is Brigitte Höfele, and this is the Success Patterns Show. And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to the Success Patterns Show. Here's the golden nugget. Success patterns are more valuable than ideas. Let me explain. Ideas, while powerful, require trial and error, a lot of time to put into action. Just think about manufacturing. First, you have an idea, then you have a proof of concept, then a working prototype, then you go into small production batches, and finally, you go into full-scale production. This takes months, years maybe. And you may have met some people who are collectors of ideas, but they do little else. Forget everything you've heard about ideas. You're not looking for ideas. You are looking for success patterns. Success patterns are different. Success patterns are better. Why? Success patterns are proven, have a logical sequence of steps to follow, have an action bias, and deliver consistent results. In this content-rich program, you're going to learn valuable success patterns with our special guest today, where last week we had a hacker in the house. This week, we have a doctor in the house. And I'm super excited that we have this very special doctor who I've just recently met at a conference. I'm thinking back, must have been last October. She is an empowerment coach, a trainer, a mentor. She was a competitive athlete. But I'm going to say, once an athlete, I think you're always kind of have that athlete mindset. She was a synchronized swimmer in the young democratic Croatia. She is originally from Croatia and has moved from there. She has overcome great diversities, spending her early 20s in the war in Croatia, and was on the front for international humanitarian organizations. Hello, this woman knows a thing or two about success patterns. And she has learned through overcoming these adversities. She has studied to what it really takes for an individual and for teams to overcome adversities. And she stands for mental and emotional toughness that is led by a no excuse policy. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't be more excited and happy to introduce on our show today, Dr. Zrinka. Thank you, Dr. Shrinka, for being here all the way from Germany.
Hello, Brigitte. Thank you for being here, the guest on your show. And as you mentioned, yes, we met just recently. It was in November in California, and I couldn't overlook a very, very impressive woman with this blonde hair and the big, really big glasses. I'm like, who are you? I want to talk to you. That was really nice. See?
It's interesting that you say that, because I went to a continuous education last weekend in Dallas, Texas, and I was going through a Whole Foods, and someone calls my name from like the end of the aisle and says, "Brigitte, is that you?" And it's a woman that lives in California. I live in Atlanta, and she recognized me by my hair. So what are the odds? No, I'm really honored, Dr. Zrinka, that you are here. And natürlich könnten wir das jetzt auf Deutsch weitermachen, but no one would understand us.
Yeah, well, let's do it in English.
Let's do it in English.
Plus, minus, everybody gets English, but German, more minus than plus.
Yeah. You got a point. Dr. Shrinka, the doctor stands for something. This is not just a doctor that you bought somewhere. This is a doctor that you have actually gone to school,
Yeah, really
school for. Tell us, what did you study?
I moved to Germany, got a scholarship late 90s to write a PhD in international relations and European foreign policies. And yeah, I finished, and then life turned out I will not be going back to not Germany, to Croatia. So I stayed in Germany, and the life developed here in Germany. So I have stayed for, oh my God, 23 years now. So I'm a full German already.
And for the ones, I mean, you speak impeccable English, and for my German audience, she also speaks impeccable German. You would not hear that she is originally from Croatia. And that's just, that kind of speaks to the person that you are and the thoroughness that you have. And, you know, you texted me before the show, and you're just a very thorough and yet a very, you're not attached. There's not an attachment to your thoroughness. Tell me more about that, because that's a really cool pattern to have.
Yeah, it wasn't always like it. As you might know, I'm a yoga teacher too. At some point, when the life got really tough in the early 2001 and 2 in Germany, I was new in the country, and a few things went wrong. And I started the yoga science. I just I wanted to find my peace. I wanted to move. I didn't have my team from Croatia anymore, and the huge sports community, and started doing yoga. So the physical part of the yoga was not so challenging, as I used to be an athlete, and I continued moving as I have to move. I cannot not move. 3 days of not moving, makes me a very undesirable person. And, my husband cannot wait for me, to start doing something so I'm relaxed after that. I just need to move. So I really started studying yoga philosophy and meditation and mindfulness and the rest. And so, that really helped me a lot, being very, very flexible, not only in the body, but very flexible in the mind too. And then you're just flexible, adapt pretty quickly, and you're just fine.
Flexible in the mind. I really like what you said, because it's one thing that I teach. So share with us, how does one become, well, flexible in the body for a lot of people is already a challenge, right? Yoga helps, continuing to work out and stretch and all of those things. How do you become flexible in the mind?
You become flexible in the mind if you don't really attach always to your opinion, if you don't attach to things, if you can accept that there are there's more than one outcome, and then you might be better off with the second one. And the flexibility goes back also to some family issues that my family had back in those days in the 80s. So I accepted sort of, what was going on. And then we had this terrible war in the 90s in Croatia. And I would always say my best years, in my early 20 years. And, what do you do then? Do you despair, or do you accept the way it is? And then you find the best possible way, to go through and not to get crazy, or all gray hair, or lose hair, or lose life. What do? You accept, and then you just really, you never, never. I will never forget. I come from Zagreb. It's the capital of Croatia. When the other country, the sort of started bombing the capital, it was like outrageous. Like, I was like, what the hell is happening? We used to be together for 40 years. Now they're throwing the bombs on us. What's going on? And we all got down in the cellars, and it was the first week of the university. I just enrolled in the university. I had all those plans and the visions and the dreams, and all of a sudden I was sitting in the cellar with the rest of the people from the house. And then I had books, my first books for the first year, freshman first year books on my lap, and I was started studying. It was like sort of like I was a defense mechanism like, I know where I want to go. This is the wrong movie. I'm definitely in the
I did
wrong
not
movie.
sign up for this.
No, it was like, I am getting out of this. This is a wrong movie, wrong theater. I'm getting out. So this is like how you overcome that, and then you just have this vision. You just have this vision. I see myself there, and I don't see myself here. So, and I still don't know how will I get there, but I know I will. So this is how you.
And it starts with your thoughts. It starts with what are you seeing in the future. So, being in the bunker, being in the cellar with, I don't know how many hundreds of people, probably were.
Yeah, I don't really remember anymore because it was not so huge. So not everybody could fit down. And so no,
Mhm.
so who fit, who didn't, they had to cross the street and go in another bigger bunker, you know.
Yeah,
And there was like it was not really a good bunker, but it was something, unless you're
it was
not in the
safe.
civil.
It was
Yeah, yeah,
safe,
it
clearly,
was.
because you're
Yeah, it
here
was.
with
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
I'm curious, is the Croatian mindset overall a mindset like you just described it, like we're going to fight on, we're going to move on, we're going to, I'm in the wrong movie, I did not sign up for this, I really don't want to be here, I'm just going to, kind of bury myself in my books and just create my future? Were you the only one, or was there a small group of people, or is it more of a Croatian mindset?
I think it's more of the Croatian mindset. If you just look a little bit at the history, you will see that Croatia has never really has a regulated system like in Germany. I mean, you're German, you come from Germany, you know how everything is regulated, many things work, and people are very safe within those boundaries of regulations and how the system works. You don't have that in Croatia, especially not in the young democratic Croatia, who just got out of one country, one federation, and fights and the rest. So people are more like um, like freestyling, and like life, what comes we will solve. So I think that flexibility and being used to change and being used to that there are no big regulations, that you always have to find your way out, is something really very typical of Croatians. That one is true. Thank you for bringing it up. It's such a good question.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting of what you have learned. And by the way, we have Kerstin who says hello, and hello to everyone that is watching us live, and then also watching the recording. How does everything that you have learned, and I want to challenge, maybe even, or ask you, the it's not necessarily the things, and you have a huge uh, uh, foundation of knowledge of what you have studied, clearly, but where you've studied it, and under which circumstances you've studied it, I think also had a huge impact. Your culture has a huge impact on that. How does all of that, because that accumulates and makes Dr. Zrinka, right? How does that translate into you going into organizations and corporations and guide them and assist them with what you're doing today?
Well, I have sort of a track record of difficult times, and that I have overcome difficult times, and that everybody asks me like, where do you get that energy from, and why are you smiling all the time? You know, I may look tired because days are long and filled with people and with fun, but I'm actually in good mood. So that translates in companies that people really see that I can energize people, motivate people, give them another perspective. That I, learn how to build up the resilience and learn that, yeah, okay, tears are fine. I do cry, but I'm not, crier for a long time. I cry, like I really can cry, but it's 10 minutes, and then all the rest is like you're not in a good state if you go for too deep. Then you're in the you're in the valley of sorrow, and then you don't exit out. So you you ventilate, so to speak, by by crying, and then you just go on, and then you always see and push forward. So this motivates people a lot. Plus, the my athlete background, still impresses people. Uh, then the mental resilience, all the mindfulness and meditation techniques that I bring in the companies, because as you know, meditation is a business case. Meditation, creates more creativity in the heads of people, clears the very, very busy heads. And ultimately there are so many benefits. Also, settles people down. They learn how to channel the emotions. They learn how, so to speak, be in the middle with super happy feelings and super negative unhappy feelings. So, and if you are in the middle, then you are really balancing your life pretty well, and you don't need work-life balance, which, by the way, there is no work-life balance. And I actually hate the term
Me
work-life
too.
balance. It means
I
when I'm
agree.
working, I'm not living. And I mean, really, like, working 12 hours and not living, that would be really disastrous. So but to learn that, while you're working, how you work, how you develop that resilience, how you develop a very positive view on life. I mean, you are the NLP queen for me, so what impact a conscious control. It's, maybe some people will perceive it negatively, but really conscious control over your thoughts will give you the possibility to consciously control your emotions. And if you got that in place, you are safe, even if you are in the basement and somebody is bombing you.
I mean, guys, mic drop right there. Conscious control. And I want to speak to that word control, because some people will pick up control and give it a negative meaning, right? Of when someone is in control of something, then it's manipulative, or it's control and it's rigorous, or it's whatever negative connotation someone might want to give. By the way, Yvonne is saying hello, greetings from Berlin. By the way, everyone, this is Germany, and it is almost 11 o'clock at night, and we have most of our viewers today from Germany. Also hallo, ganz liebe Grüße alle nach Deutschland. Control, conscious control is so key. And I really want to go deeper into that, because when someone truly understands that they are the creator of their own circumstances, clearly you had no say if you're going to be in a war or not, or if whatever other adversities. I'm pretty sure the war wasn't the only adversity in your life, right? The pandemic was an adversity we all had to overcome somehow. But how?
That kind of was really funny, because everybody was like, "Oh my god, pandemic!" I was like, "People, relax. You have food. You are at home. You have everything. Relax. And what's wrong? It's the wrong is that you cannot party outside. Okay, that feels wrong if you're 20. If you're a little bit older, it's okay. You're tired anyway." But it was, for me, it was like, what are people really freaking about? It may sound really not very true maybe to somebody, but I was totally relaxed. And pandemic, I was like,
Meh.
okay, just another show. Just another show. But I was really totally relaxed during the whole pandemic. Do I need to take a shot? Yeah, I will take it, because I want to obviously meet you in the US. It was not possible to fly to US even if you don't have a shot. Do I believe it? Absolutely not. I got COVID anyway. It was not such disastrous, but I was down for 2.5 weeks. Anyway, conscious control, super important.
Would you say, now I want to put another term in here that can be controversial, and that is the term programming. Could you say that adversity, going through overcoming adversity. I think that's the key here. Overcoming adversity, not from an outside control or from an outside perspective, but from an inside perspective of you. I have overcome adversity, not something that someone else did for me, but by something that I did. Programs you to face other adversities when they are happening simpler. I don't want to say with ease, but more simplistic.
Yeah, simpler, maybe more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It just, well, I didn't die then. Why would I die now if, pandemic is here? Clearly, many people died. I don't want to, be very unconscious about that. But, I considered myself in good health, healthy food, healthy lifestyle, enough sleep, no, basically no alcohol, no smoking. That people who are smokers had more problems with COVID, or are just genuinely more prone to get COVID. I was like, yeah, the adversities come, but that didn't kill me. Why would that kill me too? I mean, that was much harder. Many things are unpredictable right now, as we know, on the global scale.
There are many
But
things
they're
unpredictable
always,
throughout our life.
this is exactly, my lesson in life. I have come through so many different scenarios, political systems, different educations, different people, really different, very huge problems. And still here I am, and I didn't go gaga, as you would say in Germany. I'm still okay, because it's kind of a normal. It's like it's like this fabric. It has so different shades and colors, and depending on how it's woven on this place and or that place. So this is how life is. That maybe it's not so nice, but I love this color. So this is how the life is, and then you intertwine, and then you go with that. And I mean, I have to say, yoga did a great job for me. I have my yoga
Well,
mother, and I have my yoga
yoga and
father.
meditation. Yeah, yoga and meditation.
Yeah, absolutely,
When
absolutely.
so two questions, and they go back to back. When you go into organizations, first question, which organizations hire you? Do they already have an understanding of what you offer? Do they know what the outcome is for their employees? And then second question, or second part of that question, is what do you do with them?
Okay, first thing, depending on the company size. So if it's a large company, like 500 people plus, they would usually know what is health management in companies. They would usually know. But if I tell them I will do empowerment with your people, they're unclear about that.
Mm-hmm.
What I really do, I do like health management in companies 4.0, which means, yes, you do movement, so you do sports with them. You do relaxation, meditation techniques, to clean the brain. Then you do also what I call, and what is actually personal development. And all put together is actually an empowerment program for the companies. So what I introduced in the last 3 years since COVID started is a part of empowerment programs is to talk a lot more about emotions, how to deal with emotions, especially with very prominent ones. Fear, fear of of failure, fear of not being seen, fear of saying no. Or, people have all sorts of fears. So how do you help people? And then I say, if I go into your company, I will design a program. We will do a questionnaire. We will listen what people say. We will listen to you, and then I will design a program that will empower them to be much more efficient, to be more positive, create a better working environment, and be in a more relaxed. We want people actually to be in an alpha state, this more relaxed state of mind, where they really get creative ideas, where they can produce stuff so the company can innovate. No, it's innovations will bring them, you know will make them competitive and bring them more forward into the future than anything else. And if people are relaxed and not in constant cramp or in constant anxieties, this doesn't produce anything. So I try to convey that message. I get it. It's, how will you measure that people have less fear? You can't really measure them, but you can see if people, I have a couple of metrics. Yes. I say, um, if I get your one person in your company to be just 3 days less on a sick leave in a year, that saves you at least $1,500 or euros, because we have the parity right now. And if we have 1,000 people now, calculate how much money do I save if they
Cha-ching.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If they don't miss the job for 3 days. And then you have all those soft factors that you cannot calculate. People sit at work but do nothing or do just little. So efficiency is not there. Or you have a good team of, I don't know, 10, 7 are top performers, and then you have 3 who are negative, creating bad climate. So guess what happens to the whole team? They never perform. They underperform. Good people go and look either for another department or another company, and they just say, well, I don't want to work in this environment. And we know in Germany right now it's a very employee oriented market. Employees are in a better negotiating position than the employers. So this is, companies learned that they have to invest a little bit more money and time into development of those soft skills. They're
Well,
all actually under empowerment.
they're called soft skills, but they're everything but soft, because if we really look at them, if you don't have them, they're not soft. They are so necessary. And I would even go as far as what you are teaching in organizations should be taught in every school, so that the kids that are going into the workforce already have a great routine and a great habit as they're going into the workforce. Why the heck is that not happening in education?
Well, it is actually, but just in some in Germany. Our daughter went to a private bilingual school. English 70%, 30% German, and they started really teaching, how to cope with fear, how to good communication skills, to develop empathy. My daughter even got a certificate. She was, she got like, you are the best person, the best, most, empathy toward other people, very social, you help ever. So I was a kind of like, okay, so that yoga, no, that wasn't so bad either, So that was nice. But when this started actually at university, I also teach students at the university for economics here. It's also a private school for students who are already employed.
That's in
And
Frankfurt, right?
in Frankfurt, exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Die Hochschule für Ökonomie und Management. And students started hearing about that, but you see that many are still with the heads, although they're young, new generation, but they're still part of in the old educational system, because the system hasn't changed here. I mean, neither in Croatia, but it hasn't really
Or in the
changed. So
States.
they carry this huge luggage, with them in the future, but this luggage is no longer serving them. They have to, it's heavy, but they have to adopt a new one. So they have like a conflict of what should they feel, what should they think, what is it
Yeah.
actually we want. But
Yeah.
this particularly this university, I know 2 others that they do already they develop those skills.
Boy, what great work you do. I could talk to you for hours. We're going to have you back on the show. Will you come back on the show?
Of course I will. I'll even
Yes.
come to Atlanta. I mean, I
Yes.
would
Okay,
love
let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it. I love it. So last question, and then I want to ask you how people get in touch with you. Will you work with organizations in the US, or do you only work with organizations in Germany?
I haven't worked with the organizations in the US. When we were in California in November, I was talking to some people, and they basically have the same problems like people in Germany or companies in
Oh,
Germany.
even
So
more.
I'm right now, I'm, in conversation with some, well, let's see, maybe something turns out and they decide for some of my programs. I mean, you can always start with something small and see how it goes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I want to continue that conversation with you as well. How do people get in touch with you, Shrinka?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram with Dr. Zrinka. Here is also the Facebook, as you see. You can find me over my website, dr-zrinka.com. You can even write me an email if you want to. I think the email will just, be here, or there is the other one which should go. Not directly to me, but it's fine if you reach me directly. And then you can even get an appointment and schedule a free consultation. And I also said like one person can get a free hour of consultation on work-life strategy. So
Love
that'd be
it.
nice.
Absolutely love it. For the ones that are here in the US and that are not German, don't be afraid. Dr. Shrinka does not bite. I guarantee it, she does not bite. She's amazing. She's just as pink and kind and fluffy as the chair that she is sitting on. And I say that because I know her personally. And there are so many great people. There's Mario that said, nice to see Dr. Shrinka. She made me love yoga. Liebe Grüße, cooler talk from Kerstin, who is actually from Indiana. We had another Facebook user. Vielen Dank, großartiges Thema. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts with us here as well. Get with Dr. Shrinka. Zrinka is spelled Z as in zebra, R-I-N-K. And her email is really, really easy. It's Zrinka, Z-R-I-N-K-A at Dr. D-R minus or dash Zrinka, Zrinka.com. So Zrinka at dr-zrinka.com. Make sure that you get with her. Zrinka, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here so late on your day. And we'll have you back very soon.
Brigitta, thank you so much. I'm so honored that I was able to share your stage, your virtual stage, and that you invited me as a guest. I still need to learn.
Love it.
My daughter can do all the tricks. Thank you so much for being your guest, and I'll talk to you soon. And a lot of success for your show. Thank you, Brigitta.
Thank you, Dr. Shrinka. And for everyone else, make sure that you tune in again next week, same time, same place on Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern time. Until then, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Success Pattern Show at www.thesuccesspatternshow.com. My name is Brigitta Höfele.